Next one along is a lovely organ quick step. We're using an organ quick step rhythm. We've got the tempo actually set to a sequence tempo, and just give this a listen. It's a great organ sound, super little quick step. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go back to one of those great jazz organ sounds. This is a real great jazz sort of blues sound. But I'm going to do something a little bit different, because there's many people out there who use the single finger chord facility, and that's built in here. And just to show you can play with just the single finger chord facility on the left hand, get a great jazz and blues sound. Here's a good old number that I remember from when I first learnt to play in the 60s, a great sort of soul number called Watermelon Man. I'll get it right in a minute, you know, but it was just a great number. I had a lot of fun playing in a band in the 60s, and that was one of the numbers we did, and it's just fantastic on this. It's got that real soul backing to go with it. So what do you think of that then?
Well, absolutely superb, yeah. And all that with just the single finger chord, cracking style, great sound as well.
Now, the next one I'm going to go along to is something else that's quite close to my heart, really. And this is a gospel waltz. Okay. And I love gospel music, and I'm not a great one for the internet, as you know. I'm not really part of the modern world like some people, but I've been looking up some of the gospel players like Moses Tyson on the internet, and they do some great stuff. And this gospel style from Ringway, it's a really great sound. And here's a great old gospel number that everybody knows, Amazing Grace. Just give it a listen.
I'm assuming we've got some lovely theatre organ sounds on here as well, because they're always popular.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've really gone to town on those. We've got some lovely tibias, particularly a beautiful Crawford tibia we've worked very, very hard on. We've used some of our Blackpool samples from the Blackpool Tower organ, and they're just great to listen to. And you know, in honesty, I've never been a fan of theatre organ myself, but since I've had the theatre sounds in this, and I've had one of these at home, and I've really enjoyed playing it, and I've got to grips with some of the theatre sounds and a little bit of the theatre style, and in my simple way I think I can get some really authentic theatre effects. let's do a lovely old waltz ballad called Together. It's a really traditional old number, and I'm going to use the Crawford tibia and a bit of the Vox, and we'll have a little bit of a fuller theatre sample as well to go with it. And I think you're going to be really impressed with this, because it's just a great sound.
I'm sure I will be. That was lovely, Paul. What about the really big theatre?
Yeah, they're in there as well. We've got various theatre and cinema sounds sampled there. And on the faster pieces, even if you play with just one finger on your right hand for a large part of it, it's a really big sound, right through to the really big Blackpool Tower sound to finish with. And we still have the split registrations on it as well, so you can do a registration change on the lower keyboard for part of it. It's really effective. I'm really excited about these sounds. They've even made me sound a bit like a theatre organ player, which I've never been able to achieve before.
No comment. So we've had some lovely straight organ sounds, some home organ type sounds. You've had the jazz, the theatre. I'm just assuming there must be some lovely church sounds in there.
Yeah, well, you're right about that too, because we've taken some of the samples off our bigger products again, and they've worked out very well. There's a gorgeous little chapel organ and a lovely church organ. Just give these a listen. Give this one a listen as well, because as you know, I really love my reed organs.
Yes.
And do you know, the first organ I ever owned was a reed organ, and I had it at about the age of 12, and it cost me £30, and I had to save up for ages to get it. And I got it, and I learned to play on this reed organ. It wasn't really very good for the House of the Rising Sun, but it gave me a start playing the organ. Yeah. And I've always loved reed organs. And I'm going to do something here with the split keyboard as well, because there's split even on the church sounds. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something essentially a little bit American with the reed organ, because it's an American reed. And then I'm going to switch to finish off with something at the end of the day that's just a little bit British, using a lovely solo trumpet.
Okay. Again, some superb sounds there, Paul. I'd love to hear the really big cathedral organ.
Well, give this one a listen. It's the one I love, because it's that evil toccata. And what I'm going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to use a little bit of rhythm for part of it, but it's a really big sound. Particularly listen to the pedal sound, which is the really big pipe sound on the pedals. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to load in the next bank of sounds, and this is called the combo section. To select the second section of sounds, which are called the combo sounds, we again just use the shift button, and this time we use overall preset number 2. Again, we get call OK in the screen, and this time we get an array of different small band combo instrumental sounds. We've got some lovely pianos of different types. We've got some country setups. We've got some pop setups and some ballads. We've got all sorts of different instruments. It's a real potpourri of different sorts of sounds and things. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of jazz piano. And again, jazz is a bit hard to play, but I'm going to play this in a simple way. I'm going to use the jazz backing that's built into it, and you're going to hear it's going to sound like a jazz player, but I'm not really playing much in the way of jazz. Give this one a listen.